Could be from your salary, overtime, or second job. Gone. But this year, you don't need to stay a victim. Because this tax season, fraud-paying American is something no American should have to claim. Save up to 40% off your first year with the promo code BECK. Visit lifelock.com. Terms do apply.
When people turn to telehealth for weight loss, they're looking for real support. That's why more people are choosing Orderly Meds. Orderly Meds connects you with real doctors and access to proven GLP-1 medications like semaglutide and tirzepatide. No guessing, just a more supportive experience. And all shipped directly to your door in discreet packaging. Do your research, ask questions, then visit orderlymeds.com/radio for an exclusive offer. That's orderlymeds.com/radio. Individual results may vary, not medical advice. Eligibility required.
Your voice, your news. News Radio KONP, Port Angela Squim, AM 1450, FM 101.7 and 101.3, a Radio Pacific station.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. State and federal agencies remain on scene in West Bloomfield, Michigan, after responding to an incident involving a vehicle that drove into a synagogue. Police say the suspect is believed to be dead after a shootout with security.
Authorities tell ABC News the suspect intentionally drove their vehicle around security barriers and then crashed into the front doors of Temple Israel, causing a fire. Security then opened fire. Bloomfield County Sheriff Michael Bouchard says it comes as law enforcement has been on high alert amid the conflict in Iran.
We've been talking for 2 weeks about the potential, sadly, of this happening, so there was no lack of preparation.
Police in New York City and elsewhere are currently stepping up patrols at synagogues. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
Iran's new supreme leader released his first statement today, read on Iranian state TV. The son of the Ayatollah killed in the U.S.-Israeli strikes was reportedly injured. He has not appeared or been heard publicly. Iran has closed off the Strait of Hormuz to oil tankers, which accounts for 20% of global oil. That's led to oil prices to surge. ABC's Ann Flaherty says attacks in the region have raised the risk to escort those tankers.
The U.S. is still focused on its strategy of destroying anything that could potentially attack U.S. forces in the region, and that they simply see it as too risky to divert those forces to escort commercial tankers. I wouldn't be surprised if we see it at a later date.
Israel also continuing strikes in Lebanon targeting Hezbollah. ABC's Matt Rivers is in Beirut.
The amount of people displaced here in Lebanon has reached a crisis level, with people across the country forced to flee, often with nothing but the clothes on their backs, ending up in shelters at public schools in Beirut.
UNICEF says in the initial 10 days of the conflict in the Middle East, 1,100 children have been reported injured or killed due to the violence. It includes 200 children reportedly killed in Iran, 91 children in Lebanon, 4 in Israel, and 1 child in Kuwait. You're listening to ABC News.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-576-2024. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-576-2024. That's 800-576-2024.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
In Virginia, police responded to a shooting incident at Old Dominion University in Norfolk. Police say 1 victim was killed, 2 others injured, when a gunman opened fire inside a campus building. Police responded and say the shooter is also dead. The motive remains unknown. Authorities say they're working to notify families. A bill aimed at expanding access to affordable housing for Americans passed in the Senate. Here's ABC's Stephen Portnoy.
In a rare show of overwhelming bipartisanship, the 21st Century Road to Housing Act passed 89-10. It contains a tax provision entitled Homes Are for People, Not Corporations, that's aimed at limiting the buying of single-family homes by large institutional investors, such as hedge funds and private equity firms. The bill also exempts smaller-scale housing projects from lengthy environmental reviews and cuts red tape in federal grant programs. The measure still has to clear the House before it can land on President Trump's desk.
The upcoming World Cup exciting soccer fans as well as scammers.
The Federal Trade Commission has issued warnings about fake ticket brokers tapping into the FIFA frenzy. As for the real deal,
you want to look for a real buyer protection.
Jill Gonzalez of StubHub.
Places like Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist don't have that.
StubHub does, but FIFA insists that FIFA, is the only authorized seller or reseller of tickets to the World Cup matches that kick off 3 months from now. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
On Wall Street this hour, stocks are sharply down. I'm Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
This is the News Radio KONP Noon Report.
Todd Ortloff at the KONP News Center. Here's a look at what's happening on this Thursday, March 12th. A wanted felon in custody after an hours-long standoff with law enforcement in Agnew. Konp County deputies say 52-year-old Kitsap County resident Patrick Nelson surrendered last night after hiding in the attic of a short-term rental there. The investigation began March 8th when deputies were called to a vacation rental near Port Angeles after the property owner discovered firearms and drug paraphernalia left behind by renters. 2 of the guns later confirmed as stolen. Investigators identified Nelson, who's a former Konp County resident with a violent criminal history, had been recently released from prison and was wanted on a Department of Corrections warrant for violating community custody. Deputies in the Olympic Peninsula Narcotics Enforcement Team later located Nelson at another rental in Agnew. Now, during the operation, 50-year-old Johnny Watts of Port Angeles was also arrested. That when deputies reportedly found a loaded handgun and suspected drugs in his pocket. The Peninsula Crisis Response Team responded and nearby homes were evacuated as a precaution there in Agnew yesterday. After several hours of negotiations, Nelson surrendered peacefully and was taken into custody without incident. Authorities say the investigation, though, is continuing and more charges could be coming. 24th District State Representative Steve Theringer says he will not run for re-election, bringing an end to a 16-year career representing the North Olympic Peninsula in Olympia. The Port Townsend Democrat announced he will not seek a 9th term in the State House after serving 8 terms for the 24th Legislative District, which includes Clallam and Jefferson counties and parts of Grays Harbor County. In a statement, Theringer thanked residents for the opportunity to serve and said he's proud of the work lawmakers accomplished on job creation, health care, and infrastructure projects across the state. Theringer was first elected to Olympia in 2010. Before joining the legislature, he spent more than a decade in local government, including Konp County Commissioner. In his time in Olympia, Theringer chaired the House Capital Budget Committee, overseeing billions of dollars in spending on schools, housing, parks, and other public facilities. Theringer has recently been working remotely as he's been recovering from some medical issues. Teresa Fox announcing she is running for Congress in Washington's 6th Congressional District. Fox, a Bremerton resident, is an occupational safety professional and emergency manager. She says she's running to give stronger representation to workers in key industries across the Olympic and Kitsap Peninsulas. Fox has worked in shipyards, naval facilities, and offshore operations. Her background also includes positions with the State Department of Labor and Industries and Olympic College. Fox criticized the district's current representation and says she wants to focus on maritime jobs, timber, military communities, and small businesses. The seat is currently held by Democrat Emily Randall, who was elected in 2024. More news after this.
End-of-life decisions are hard. Be it pre-planning or sudden loss, you need to have an advocate in your corner, which is why I wholeheartedly recommend Drennan and Ford Funeral Home and Crematory in Port Angeles, the only locally owned funeral home and crematory in Clallam County. Their expertise ensures a smooth process so you can focus on healing and being with your loved ones. Their help through the darkest time in my life will forever stay with me. Call 360-457-1210.
Looking for the next place to call home? Come tour Lavender Meadows and Swim. Beautiful, affordable homes for active 55-plus adults. Our modern, low-maintenance homes give you more time to enjoy life. More than a home, you'll enjoy community, active lifestyle, value, and security. We're confident you'll appreciate the modern amenities too. Come to our Lavender Meadows and Swim or online at lavendermeadowsmhc.com.
Bathfitter is celebrating over 42,000 installations in Western Washington. That's 42,000 bathrooms made safer, cleaner, and more stylish. And for a limited time, we're doubling our tax season offer, giving up to $1,000 off your dream bath. Custom-fit tub and shower solutions are installed in as little as 1 day, with complete removal of your old setup. Every installation backed by a lifetime warranty. Visit bathfitternw.com to schedule a free consultation. Hurry, this offer won't last.
In other news, not a lot of surprises at yesterday's State of the City meeting in Port Angeles. Maybe that's a good thing, but that's not to say there were no surprises. About that in a moment, but City Manager Nathan West updated the Chamber of Commerce members on nearly every department of the city, including some videos made in-house that featured various department heads and others walking through their own updates. Early in his address, West touted the city's balanced budget, its massive reduction in debt, and its investments in capital projects. West also talked about the challenges facing the city and what's being done to find solutions, including in public safety and aging infrastructure and the city's encampments and their inhabitants. When he got to the what's next part of the address, West said the city will continue to update its municipal code, making bill paying easier, increasing permit transparency, and the design RFP that just went out to get a multifamily housing project going on 10th Street later this year. Now, as for the surprise, while talking about the planned Lower Elwha sewer project, West had this to say.
This is a sewer extension that Lower Elwha Qualam Tribe has designed, would actually extend sewer from Milwaukee Drive south to Highway 101. It's a major benefit to what many of you all participated in discussing about the growth of the west end of our town. And I just want to mention today, as I was preparing for this, I got a really special message from Colleen McAleer to share that we got word that the State House and Senate budget have been combined, and we now have seen this funding come forward, $3.3 million in the state budget, so couldn't be more excited.
In his final comments, West recalled that last year he challenged Port Angeles residents to reach out to their fellow community members and make stronger connections. This year, he asked for something more.
But this year, I'm asking you to take those connections and actually transition and do something a little bit bigger and better, and sometimes a lot more challenging. And that is to reach out to your friends, family, and others in the community that you're aware of that are out there behind their computer screens making negative comments about our community, and challenge them to take that energy and convert it to action on behalf of our community. Let's get out from behind those screens and make sure we're actively contributing.
Washington Democrats have approved a new statewide income tax on high earners, sending the proposal now to the governor. The state Senate passing the bill yesterday, 27-21. All Republicans opposed. The measure would impose a 9.9% tax on household income above $1 million starting in 2028. Collections would start in 2029 and are projected to bring in about $3 billion a year. Before the vote, Republicans made a last-minute procedural challenge, arguing the changes made in the House went beyond the scope of the original bill. Lieutenant Governor Danny Heck rejected that challenge after consulting with legal counsel. Democratic leaders say the plan will help address Washington's tax structure and includes changes to support families and businesses, including expanding eligibility for the Working Families Tax Credit and sales tax exemptions on things like diapers and over-the-counter medications. Republicans argue the tax will hurt the state's economy and drive people out of the state. The bill now heads to Governor Ferguson, who says he will sign it. This is News Radio KONP.
Good sleep is vital to your health. If you're tired of not getting good sleep, discover the Superior Sleep Experience. Superior Sleep is the #1 adjustable bed, supporting you head to toe with the best comfort and best sleep experience possible at the guaranteed lowest price. Superior Sleep is factory direct, which means factory direct pricing with the assurance of a 25-year warranty. Come experience Superior Sleep this weekend at the KONP Home Show.
This afternoon on the Todd Ortloff Show, Clallam County Commissioners Randy Johnson and Mike French join Sheriff Brian King. They're talking medical services at the county jail, plus a business bit with Kevin Holt.
Join us at 1 o'clock Monday through Thursday for the Todd Ortloff Show on KONP. Information to keep you engaged in your community with the people and organizations who keep it running. Sponsored by Dan Shappy Farmers Insurance.
Are you thinking about a new roof, siding, or windows for your home? Give Tri-State a call. Tri-State installs GAF roofing products, James Hardy siding, and Pella replacement windows. And right now, Tri-State is offering huge savings. The first step is a free estimate. Call 360-208-2222 or visit tristate.pro.
Tri-State Roofing, we got you covered.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by All Weather Heating and Cooling. Rain likely this afternoon, otherwise cloudy skies expected. Daytime highs approaching 43, westerly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Cloudy skies expected again tonight. Rain likely early, then becoming mixed precipitation. Lows dip down to about 33. Mixed precipitation likely, changing to all rain tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 42, overcast skies. Slight chance for mixed precipitation, changing to all rain Saturday and Sunday. Mid-40s Saturday, low 40s by Sunday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently 43.
Dodge that embarrassment. Good morning, I'm Jay Reynolds. Team USA is into the knockout round of the WBC thanks to Italy's 9-1 win over Mexico last night. Italy riding 3 homers from Royals first baseman Vinny Pasquantino, who told FS1,
"That was unbelievable, huh? You're welcome, USA. We were thinking of you guys over at your hotel. We were thinking of you guys, so I'm glad you guys could join us in the party."
Italy wins the group. Team USA advances and will get Canada tomorrow. Canada beats Cuba to clinch its group. So, on the heels of the Olympics, another U.S.-Canada showdown. Football, Ravens backing out of their deal for Max Crosby. He's settling back into Las Vegas. He took to social media last night, quote, "Everything happens for a reason. I'm a Raider. I'm back." Ravens moving on. They pivot to make a deal with Trey Hendrickson instead. Baltimore's GM says his plan was to land both, comments that have drawn some raised eyebrows. ESPN's Amber Wilson.
You didn't want to give up the first rounders. You saw an opportunity with Trey Hendrickson, and you went after it. That's all well and good. Don't insult my intelligence. You were never planning to have him and Max Crosby.
Kyler Murray officially released in Arizona. Colts reach a 2-year deal with Daniel Jones. NBA, Kawhi Leonard drops 45. Clippers beat Minnesota 153-128. In mid-December, LA was 6-21. They're now above 500. Nuggets by 36 over Houston. Nikola Jokic with a triple-double and didn't play in the fourth quarter. Knicks rally from down 18 to beat Utah by 17. Orlando 128-122 over the Cavs. Magic with a 5-game win streak. Hornets top the Kings. Sacramento officially eliminated from playoff contention. College, Lehigh captures the Patriot League title. McNeese wins the Southland. Idaho, the 7 seed, comes away with the automatic bid from the Big Sky. ACC, Big 10, Big 12 with quarterfinal action today. Arizona State losing by 49 yesterday. Coach Bobby Hurley is out after 11 seasons.
In local sports, it's March Madness time tomorrow night for the Peninsula Pirate women's basketball team as they face the 27-4 defending NWAC champion Walla Walla Warriors at Columbia Basin College in Pasco. The 24-4 Pirates lost twice to the Warriors earlier this season, but those games may not mean much heading into tomorrow night's matchup. In the first meeting, just the Pirates' second game of the season, Peninsula suited up just 7 players at Columbia Basin College and was without Carlise O'Brien and Aspen Frazier. The teams met again in December at the Lower Columbia College Holiday Tournament, where Walla Walla won again, that time 69-55. In that game, the Pirates shot an ice-cold 30% from the field and were just 3 of 16 from three-point range. This Peninsula Pirate team looks much different now, though, after knocking off Treasure Valley in the Sweet 16 and Umpqua in the Elite 8. The Pirates bench has played a key role with Haley Ostrander, Aspen Frazier, and Malaya Garcia combining for 46 points in the team's tournament wins in Pasco last weekend. Both teams averaged 71 points per game, but Peninsula has the edge defensively, allowing just 47 points per contest. Walla Walla is led by 5'5" freshman guard Logan Sailors of Meridian, Idaho, who averages 16 points a game and shoots 33% from three-point range. The Warriors also feature a strong front line with 6'3" sophomore Addie Label of Boise averaging 9 points and 7 rebounds, and 5'10" sophomore Hadley Fraz of Meridian, who averages 13 points and 9 rebounds per game. Legendary coach Bobby Hazeltine is in her 27th season leading the Warriors. During that time, Walla Walla has compiled its 567-183 record. They've reached the NWAC tournament 24 times, advanced to 8 Final Fours and won 4 NWAC championships. Now, tomorrow night's game will be broadcast here on KONP. Tip-off at 7 o'clock. Our pregame show beginning at 6:45. Meanwhile, high school spring sports season gets underway. Although some events could be affected by rain, as what usually happens this time of year. Port Angeles Rough Riders baseball team is scheduled for a 4 o'clock first pitch at Foss, while the Rough Rider boys soccer team is set to play at Steilacoom. They'll kick it off at 6.
This is Ed from Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales. Our family has trucked hay to feed the hungry animals in Western Washington for 4 generations. In that time, we have built a growing legacy of serving the needs of our customers, and we've never stopped. In 2014, we ventured into the equipment world by becoming a dealer and service provider for Mahindra Tractors. Since then, we have partnered with quality brands such as Bad Boy, Aaron's Gravely, LS Tractor, Husqvarna, Snake River Trailers, and now Wacker Neuson Construction Equipment. We have a 3-base shop where we not only service the brands we sell, but we also work on most major brands including Kubota, John Deere, and New Holland. We carry a wide variety of parts, filters, belts, and fluids. We have a fully stocked hydraulic shop and can build hoses for most machines while you wait. Chainsaw or weed eater needs some TLC, we work on small engines too. We even offer welding and fabrication services. We have been earning the Peninsula's trust for over 25 years with your animal's care. We look forward to earning your trust with your equipment's care too.
News Radio KONP Business.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. The U.S. trade deficit narrowed by more than expected in January. It shrunk by 25% from December. That's thanks to a boost in U.S. exports, especially new aircraft and computers. Imports, particularly pharmaceuticals, fell. Because of the U.S.-Israeli war against Iran has put the squeeze on oil supplies, airlines already jacking up airfares, raising fuel surcharges. One airline lobbying group says airfares could jump 9% higher. Meantime, oil right now up 9%. It's at $95 a barrel. That's pushing shares of all the major airlines and cruise ship operators, which are seeing fuel prices skyrocket, much lower. As for stocks, the Dow, the Nasdaq, the S&P, all down about 1.25% right now. And because of that partial government shutdown, now in its 4th week, which is causing massive lines at airport security checkpoints, the nation's TSA workers, who are working without pay, now missing out their first full paycheck this week. Tom Busby, Bloomberg Radio.
Winter sale savings have been going on all season long at Angelus Furniture. But right now, to celebrate the end, they just got better. Save 10% on all qualifying stressless furniture or receive $600 off stressless Atom recliners. The new stressless Atom with zero gravity position will have you relaxing weightlessly. Stressless by Eckerness is the most innovative furniture on the market today. Check out the end of winter hello to spring savings only at Angelus Furniture.
McCrory Carpet One is part of a 1,000-store co-op. That means you get the competitive pricing of a big box store, but with a superior installation. Their team of professional installers are all employees who live here on the peninsula. Their installation teams take pride in their work because they know they're working for their neighbors and friends, local craftsmen helping local people. Experience the difference. It's why they say, always priced right and always done right. At McCrory Carpet One.
News Radio KONP. Traffic and roads.
Let's head up to Clallam Transit Dispatch Center. That's where Steve's standing by, watching the roads for us this afternoon. Good afternoon, Steve.
Hi there. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, we're looking pretty good out there. Both Port Angeles and Sequim area, if you are out and about, it's busy, but not too bad out there. You should be able to get around pretty much the speed limit all the way around. A few slow spots around town, but overall should be a good afternoon to get around and do your things this afternoon today. If you're on Highway 101 between Port Angeles and Sequim right now, no real issues out there as well. Traffic is moving right along at the speed limit. No real slowdowns except our construction area there at Lee's Creek and Baker Dip. That is a little bit slow going. Also, the Walmart area and then Carlsberg Road, that stoplight there. Beyond that, though, you should be doing just fine. If you're headed out beyond Sequim, Hookenau Bridge, good to go with no scheduled marine openings, and state ferries are running on time today. If you're headed out to the west end, right now 101's in good shape all the way out to the Forks area. No real issues out there. Traffic is moving along pretty smoothly right now. And just a reminder, Monday, or Sunday actually, but Monday the main service starts. Our new bus service, new routes, and all kinds of things going on. You'll like those routes much better if you ride the bus, and if you don't, you should give it a try. It's free, and that's a whole lot cheaper than a gallon of gas. So everybody, you take care, be safe. This is Steve reporting live from Clown Transit for KONP.
Thank you, Steve. Your weather forecast today going to call for some showers at times. Cloudy, highs low to mid-40s tonight. Rain and snow mixed. Lows in the low to mid-30s. Tomorrow, cloudy and rain maybe mixed with a couple of snowflakes at times as well. Highs in the upper 30s to mid-40s. Not expecting any significant snow accumulation here in the lowlands. Right now, it is 43 in Port Townsend. Out west at Forks, also 43. Squim's got 45. And it's also 45 degrees now out at Fairchild Airport here in Port Angeles. World Cup organizers expected heavy fan interest in this summer's North American soccer matches, and they were right on the money. FIFA has received hundreds of millions of requests for tickets to games that are being played in Mexico, Canada, and here in the U.S.
This is Jim Ryan. The official World Cup ticket lottery is closed, leaving countless fans turning to resale sites. But Noel Laveau of Dallas World Cup 26 says,
FIFA is the direct seller of all FIFA World Cup tickets. They have a reselling site.
But FIFA doesn't have the market completely cornered, says Jill Gonzalez of StubHub.
StubHub, with every order, is backed by its Fan Protect guarantee.
The Federal Trade Commission is warning of scammers selling fake tickets or entire travel packages that don't exist. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
From ABC News, Tech Trends. Almost 2 weeks into the conflict in Iran, gas prices are up, and that's having an impact on how people are thinking about buying a new car.
We looked at the vehicle research activity for electrified vehicles, so hybrids, plug-ins, electric vehicles.
Jessica Caldwell is the head of insights at Edmunds, which recently found searches for electrified vehicles ticking up on the platform.
You know, it has gone up. It's very slight, again, because I think this is still very early on. I think once we probably have a few more weeks of high gas prices, these numbers will become even more pronounced.
She anticipates an increase in supply as well, as many heavily depreciated EVs are coming off 3-year leases.
I mean, if you're talking about EVs from 10 years ago, maybe not the ones that most people want, but 3 years, we got a good quality mix in there.
She says historically, high gas prices have resulted in more interest in efficient vehicles.
It doesn't always result in purchases, but I think people are just becoming interested at what their options are.
With Tech Trends, I'm Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
A better life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
Even for people who fall asleep easily, staying asleep can be difficult. You wake up, your mind starts to race, you can't turn those thoughts off. Sleep experts say there are a few things you can try. Cognitive shuffling. That's when you choose a random, impersonal, non-emotional word. Then for each letter of that word, think of as many words that begin with each letter as you can before moving on to the next one. It distracts your brain from stress. It also mimics the fragmented thought patterns that usually occur as you drift off to sleep. Sensory grounding is something else. That's when you work through things you can hear, feel, see, smell, or taste. That helps you to be in the moment instead of dwelling on the past or the future. Or just do a mental walkthrough of a place you know well. Familiar but neutral imagery. That can calm the brain. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Hello, I'm Jerry Stewart, and this is One Moment in America.
We all know that George Washington is the father of our nation, but what do we know about George Washington's mother? I'll tell you that story after this important message.
If you've been hearing my radio programs now for the last 20 years, you know that I've been telling the true stories of those who have followed God's ways to make America the greatest nation in the world. So what's the latest? Well, we're now doing this nation-saving work full-time, and we need your help by becoming one of our ambassadors, subscribing to All We Have for just $5.95 per month. To get what? Number one, full access to our amazing website that is full of over 100 true stories to teach us with these stories how America is to act and operate. We also have lessons for all ages to teach us what we must do now. And our children, they will be our nation's leaders very soon. I will have live presentations online for you to hear, maybe even to participate. And when must this all get started? Now. Call our offices today at 817-995-6965 or go to our website at www.jerrystewartusa.com and email our office. God bless you.
What do we know about George Washington's mother? Her name was Mary Ball Washington. She is said to have been a bit eccentric. She preferred her own private life, hated dressing up, and her favorite pastime was fishing with her son George. And what did George think of her? He said, "All I am I owe to my mother. I attribute all of my success in life to the moral, intellectual, and physical education I received from her." And what was Mary Washington's advice to her son George? Remember, son, God is your only sure trust. Wow, the power of a godly mother. I'm Jerry Stewart, and that was One Moment in America.
Welcome to Volunteer Spotlight, sponsored by Jim Hagwood, Port Angeles Realty. This is Alan Barnard, and this Volunteer Spotlight shines on Seroptimist International of Port Angeles. Their Noon Club's mission is to improve the lives of women and girls through programs leading to social and economic empowerment and to serve as a voice on issues of importance to women and girls. Their active volunteer members are dedicated to community service through active support and financial support of many civic projects and groups. When women help other women, amazing things happen, breathing life into many education and empowerment programs. If you want to make a difference by joining Seroptimist, their website at sipawa.org. That's sipawa.org. It's said that service is the rent we pay for a space on earth. That's why we present this Volunteer Spotlight, sponsored by Jim Hagwood, Port Angeles Realty.
Come see Price Ford when shopping for your next vehicle. We have the new Ford Maverick and Ranger, along with the highly capable compact crossover Ford Bronco Sport. Looking for pre-owned? We have the largest selection in the area. Let us help you find the perfect vehicle for your lifestyle and budget. Visit Price Ford next to Walmart in Port Angeles or priceford.com and become part of the Price family.
We've watched him sprout. We've seen the teen vine years, and now he's
Tomato. Thomas Tomato.
fully ripened, perfectly round, thriving in his Jungle Jane's greenhouse.
I like my hydroponic nutrients shaken, not stirred.
From first sprout to full harvest, Jungle Jane's has greenhouses, hydroponic systems, and everything you need to grow greatness.
I'd like to thank the sun, the water, and Jungle Jane's.
On the roundabout by Costco in Sequim.
Breaking news this hour at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. A man armed with a rifle rammed a vehicle into a major synagogue in a Detroit suburb today and was fatally shot by security. That's according to a person familiar with the matter. He told the Associated Press a person in the vehicle rammed the building. Vehicle caught fire in the Temple Israel Synagogue in West Bloomfield Township. There was smoke coming from the building for some time. In Virginia, Old Dominion University says a gunman is dead and 2 people hurt after a shooting at the school. ODU says a gunman opened fire at its business school building today, injuring 2 people who were sent to the hospital. It was not immediately clear how the shooter died. California Governor Gavin Newsom says there is no imminent threat to his state. Despite a warning from the FBI, Iran could send drones to the West Coast in retaliation for the war.
We are aware of that information, and we transfer that information in real time to our local partners. Drone issues have been always top of mind.
California officials say they're trying not to overreact despite a warning from the FBI. And San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie.
As always, public safety is our number one priority. And rest assured, we are in constant communication with all of our public safety partners. And we will continue to monitor the situation, and we will always keep you posted.
Another cyber attack cripples a company.
Stryker, a U.S. medical equipment company, says a cyber attack has disrupted its global networks. Stryker says it believes the incident is contained, though it didn't elaborate. The company says the impact is still being investigated. Stryker is based in Michigan and makes a variety of medical products from artificial joints to hospital beds. It had revenue of more than $25 billion in 2025. The Wall Street Journal says the logo of a hacking group linked to Iran appeared on the company login pages.
That is Keith Peters. More from townhall.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-583-0141. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-583-0141. That's 800-583-0141.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Changing eating habits are leading to changing restaurant guidelines. More customers are on GLP-1 drugs and struggling to find restaurant meals that meet their dietary needs and smaller appetites. The head chef at Barkeeter's Restaurant in Vermont, Peter Koenig, says the smaller portions help keep down costs, but it's also the customer's idea.
I think that this is a good step forward for restaurants. Not everyone wants these massive portions.
In Philadelphia, Cuba Libre Restaurant and Rum Bar co-owner Barry Gooten says discussions with people taking a popular weight loss drug inspired him to try something new.
Two different friends of mine each told me that they were taking the GLP-1 drugs, and they started to tell me how they have to eat and how difficult it is at times to eat in a restaurant.
And GLP-1 users tend to eat less, so they need nutritionally dense foods that are low in fat and high in protein and fiber. Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com.
This is the News Radio KONP Noon Report.
It's Howard Clough for the KONP News Center. Here's a look at what's happening on this Thursday, March 12th. The wanted felon in custody after an hours-long standoff with law enforcement in Agnew. Allen County deputies say 52-year-old Kitsap County resident Patrick Nelson surrendered last night after hiding in the attic of a short-term rental there. The investigation began March 8th when deputies were called to a vacation rental near Port Angeles after the property owner discovered firearms and drug paraphernalia left behind by renters. Two of the guns later confirmed as stolen. Investigators identified Nelson, who's a former Clallam County resident with a violent criminal history, had been recently released from prison and was wanted on a Department of Corrections warrant for violating community custody. Deputies in the Olympic Peninsula Narcotics Enforcement Team later located Nelson at another rental in Agnew. Now, during the operation, 50-year-old Johnny Watts of Port Angeles was also arrested. That when deputies reportedly found a loaded handgun and suspected drugs in his pocket. The Peninsula Crisis Response Team responded, and nearby homes were evacuated as a precaution there in Agnew yesterday. After several hours of negotiations, Nelson surrendered peacefully and was taken into custody without incident. Authorities say the investigation, though, is continuing and more charges could be coming. 24th District State Representative Steve Theringer says he will not run for re-election, bringing an end to a 16-year career representing the North Olympic Peninsula in Olympia. The Port Townsend Democrat announced he will not seek a 9th term in the State House after serving 8 terms for the 24th Legislative District, which includes Clallam and Jefferson counties and parts of Grace Harbor County. In a statement, Theringer thanked residents for the opportunity to serve and said he's proud of the work lawmakers accomplished on job creation, health care, and infrastructure projects across the state. Theringer was first elected to Olympia in 2010. Before joining the legislature, he spent more than a decade in local government, including Konp County Commissioner. In his time in Olympia, Theringer chaired the House Capital Budget Committee, overseeing billions of dollars in spending on schools, housing, parks, and other public facilities. Theringer has recently been working remotely as he's been recovering from some medical issues. Teresa Fox announcing she is running for Congress in Washington's 6th Congressional District. Fox, a Bremerton resident, is an occupational safety professional and emergency manager. She says she's running to give stronger representation to workers in key industries across the Olympic and Kitsap Peninsulas. Fox has worked in shipyards, naval facilities, and offshore operations. Her background also includes positions with the State Department of Labor and Industries and Olympic College. Fox criticized the district's current representation and says she wants to focus on maritime jobs, timber, military communities, and small businesses. The seat is currently held by Democrat Emily Randall, who was elected in 2024. More news after this.
Hi, I'm Mac McDonald, a CERT first responder, and I'll be presenting a stimulating discussion at the KOMP Home Show about any emergency that you might find yourself a part of. Do you know the other parts of Washington state that will be affected by a 9.0 earthquake? Do you know how fast a tsunami would reach your locale as it races towards the coast and down the Salish Strait? Do you know what you and your neighbors can do to not only become very aware of your tsunami or earthquake escape routes, but how to enhance them? Do you know the one item everyone forgets to put in their emergency to-go backpack? So be sure and attend the home show and my presentation at 11 o'clock on Saturday and 2 o'clock on Sunday to hear the answer to those and many other questions. Again, I'm Mac McDonald, a first responder with CERT, and we are working together with KOMP to make you safer in any emergency.
Here on the Olympic Peninsula, we live outdoors. Dress like it with help from Brown's Outdoor. Hi, this is Hannah from Brown's Outdoor. We've been outfitting your family for over 103 years in downtown Port Angeles. You'll find hiking gear, accessories, and outdoor lifestyle apparel from top brands like The North Face, Marmot, Mountain Hardwear, and Patagonia. Plus, the latest from Purnell and Caton. Need a new hydro flask? Brown's has over 20 colors to choose from. Start your adventure at Brown's Outdoor downtown. Family owned and operated for like forever.
In other news, not a lot of surprises at yesterday's State of the City meeting in Port Angeles. Maybe that's a good thing, but that's not to say there were no surprises. About that in a moment, but City Manager Nathan West updated the Chamber of Commerce members on nearly every department of the city, including some videos made in-house that featured various department heads and others walking through their own updates. Early in his address, West touted the city's balanced budget, its massive reduction in debt, and its investments in capital projects. West also talked about the challenges facing the city and what's being done to find solutions, including in public safety and aging infrastructure and the city's encampments and their inhabitants. When he got to the what's next part of the address, West said the city will continue to update its municipal code, making bill paying easier, increasing permit transparency, and the design RFP that just went out to get a multifamily housing project going on 10th Street later this year. Now, as for the surprise, while talking about the planned Lower Elwha sewer project, West had this to say.
This is a sewer extension that Lower Elwha Qualam Tribe has designed, would actually extend sewer from Milwaukee Drive south to Highway 101. It's a major benefit to what many of you all participated in discussing about the growth of the west end of our town. And I just want to mention today, as I was preparing for this, I got a really special message from Colleen McAleer to share that we got word that the State House and Senate budget have been combined, and we now have seen this funding come forward, $3.3 million in the state budget, so couldn't be more excited.
In his final comments, West recalled that last year he challenged Port Angeles residents to reach out to their fellow community members and make stronger connections. This year, he asked for something more.
But this year, I'm asking you to take those connections and actually transition and do something a little bit bigger and better, and sometimes a lot more challenging. And that is to reach out to your friends, family, and others in the community that you're aware of that are out there behind their computer screens making negative comments about our community, and challenge them to take that energy and convert it to action on behalf of our community. Let's get out from behind those screens and make sure we're actively contributing.
Washington Democrats have approved a new statewide income tax on high earners, sending the proposal now to the governor. The state Senate passing the bill yesterday, 27-21. All Republicans opposed. The measure would impose a 9.9% tax on household income above $1 million starting in 2028. Collections would start in 2029 and are projected to bring in about $3 billion a year. Before the vote, Republicans made a last-minute procedural challenge, arguing the changes made in the House went beyond the scope of the original bill. Lieutenant Governor Danny Heck rejected that challenge after consulting with legal counsel. Democratic leaders say the plan will help address Washington's tax structure and includes changes to support families and businesses, including expanding eligibility for the Working Families Tax Credit and sales tax exemptions on things like diapers and over-the-counter medications. Republicans argue the tax will hurt the state's economy and drive people out of the state. The bill now heads to Governor Ferguson, who says he will sign it. This is News Radio KONP.
What's really in your water? Hi, this is Sidian Kaufman, owner of Pure Water Northwest. Call us for a free in-home water test to tell you exactly what is in your water and how you can get better than bottled water right from your tap. From whole home filtration and water softening to 5-stage reverse osmosis systems, we are the only licensed water treatment company in Western Washington, so we can help you with all your plumbing needs as well.
Call 360-908-8947 or purewaternorthwest.com.
This afternoon on the Todd Ortloff Show, Clallam County Commissioners Randy Johnson and Mike French join Sheriff Brian King. They're talking medical services at the county jail, plus a business bit with Kevin Holt.
Join us at 1 o'clock Monday through Thursday for the Todd Ortloff Show on KONP. Information to keep you engaged in your community with the people and organizations who keep it running. Sponsored by Dan Shappy, Farmers Insurance.
With decades of experience and thousands of satisfied customers, you can be confident that Bill Mayer Heating and Air is the right choice for all your heating and cooling needs. Call now to schedule preventive maintenance, repair service, or a free in-home consultation for a new heat pump system. You have tried the rest. Now go with the best. Bill Mayer Heating and Air, 360-683-4245.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by All Weather Heating and Cooling. Rain likely this afternoon, otherwise cloudy skies expected. Daytime highs approaching 43, westerly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Cloudy skies expected again tonight. Rain likely early, then becoming mixed precipitation. Lows dip down to about 33. Mixed precipitation likely, changing to all rain tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 42, overcast skies. Slight chance for mixed precipitation, changing to all rain Saturday and Sunday. Mid-40s Saturday, low 40s by Sunday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently 43.
Kraken hockey versus Colorado tonight. 6:30 airtime here on KONP. Now with the rest of the sports, here's Robert Workman.
At the World Baseball Classic in Houston, Italy manhandled Mexico 9-1 to win Pool C with a perfect 4-0 record. Royals first baseman Vinny Pasquantino led the way with the first 3-homer game in WBC history. Aaron Nola of the Phillies fired 5 scoreless innings. Now, the win also means that the U.S. team makes the quarterfinals on Friday in Houston, where they will meet Pool A winner Canada. That just keeps happening. The other quarterfinal pairings, Korea and the Dominican Republic, meet tomorrow in Miami. Then on Saturday, it'll be Puerto Rico against Italy and Venezuela versus Japan. College hoops, conference tournament time. Number 7 Iowa State annihilated Arizona State 91-42, the largest margin of victory in Big 12 tournament history. And after the game, ASU announced it will not renew Coach Bobby Hurley's contract after 11 years. 15 of the 31 automatic bids have been decided. Last night, a Cinderella from the Big Sky is 7-seed Idaho defeated 5-seed Montana in their conference tournament final. That sends the Vandals to the NCAAs for the first time since 1990. Lehigh grabbed the Patriot League bid. The Mountain Hawks going to the tournament for the first time since 2012. Seems like only yesterday. And McNeese won the Southland Conference. The Cowboys heading to the big dance for a 3rd straight season. A lot more familiar faces from here on out. 15 top 25 teams will be in action today and tonight, and the other 8 ranked teams hit the hardwood tomorrow. And in a quick pivot after the Max Crosby trade fell through, the Ravens signed Bengals free agent defensive end Trey Hendrickson to a 4-year deal. The Ravens nixed their trade with the Raiders after Crosby failed his physical, though Baltimore GM Eric DeCosta says they were hoping to pair Hendrickson and Crosby on their revamped defensive line next year. That's Thursday Sports.
Good sleep is vital to your health. If you're tired of not getting good sleep, discover the Superior Sleep Experience. Superior Sleep is the #1 adjustable bed, supporting you head to toe with the best comfort and best sleep experience possible at the guaranteed lowest price. Superior Sleep is factory direct, which means factory direct pricing with the assurance of a 25-year warranty. Come experience Superior Sleep this weekend at the KONP Home Show.
What's the misconception when considering new cabinets for your home?
I think a lot of people are under the impression that if they go to the box stores, they're going to pay a lot less for their cabinets.
That's Tony from Tim's Cabinets.
Going custom cabinets, you're usually paying about the same or less.
Tim's Custom Cabinets in Squim. 40-plus years experience ensures your cabinet project will be done right.
Let me help make the process comfortable. And at the end, you're going to be extremely happy with what we've done for you.
Tim's Custom Cabinets Squim.
At McCrory Carpet One, they know how important it is to feel confident in your flooring selection. You want to know it's going to look exactly the way you want it once it's installed in your home. That's why they offer their one-of-a-kind guarantee, making sure you're 100% happy that the floor you've created together is as beautiful as the one in your dreams. If not, they'll replace it for free. That's what they call the Beautiful Guarantee. Peace of mind is yours with every installation. Always priced right, always done right. McCrory Carpet One.
Meet Tommy the tomato.
Hi, I'm Tommy.
He's just a little sprout, but he's got big dreams.
I'm growing up in a cozy greenhouse from Jungle Jane's.
Tommy's home is warm, sunny, and perfectly humid because Jungle Jane's knows greenhouses.
And I'm being raised on hydroponics. No dirt, no drama, just happy roots.
Start your growing story at Jungle Jane's with hydroponic systems, greenhouses, and everything your garden needs. Jungle Jane's on the roundabout by Costco in Squim.
News Radio KONP Business.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. The U.S. trade deficit narrowed by more than expected in January. It shrunk by 25% from December. That's thanks to a boost in U.S. exports, especially new aircraft and computers. Imports, particularly pharmaceuticals, fell. Because of the U.S.-Israeli war against Iran has put the squeeze on oil supplies, airlines already jacking up airfares, raising fuel surcharges. One airline lobbying group says airfares could jump 9% higher. Meantime, oil right now up 9%. It's at $95 a barrel. That's pushing shares of all the major airlines and cruise ship operators, which are seeing fuel prices skyrocket, much lower. As for stocks, the Dow, the Nasdaq, the S&P, all down about 1.25% right now. And because of that partial government shutdown, now in its 4th week, which is causing massive lines at airport security checkpoints, the nation's TSA workers, who are working without pay, now missing out their first full paycheck this week. Tom Busby, Bloomberg Radio.
Let's check the noontime traffic next.
As leaves fall and temperatures drop, that means cold and flu season is here. But don't worry. The best defense is a good offense, and we have 2 ways to keep you healthy. First, regular hand washing can help keep cold and flu viruses at bay. Second, protect yourself and your loved ones by getting your flu shot. It's safe, it's effective, and it's your best bet against the flu. So, wash those hands, get a flu vaccine, and let's beat the cold and flu together. Brought to you by Olympic Medical Center.
LS Tractor. Do more for less. More standard features, more capacity, and more operator comfort. LS Tractor gives you more. A comprehensive warranty and more PTO horsepower. Do more on your farm, ranch, or acreage. Mow it, grade it, till it, or move it. Stop by your local participating dealer and join the growing LS Tractor family today.
Find the perfect LS Tractor for you at Leitz Farm Supply in Squim. Locally owned and operated. Call Leitz at 360-452-1400.
LS Tractor. Simply more.
News Radio KONP. Traffic and roads.
Right up to Clallam Transit Dispatch Center we go. That's where Steve's standing by watching the roads for us. Good afternoon, Steve.
Hi there. Hey, good afternoon, everybody.
Yeah, we're looking pretty good out there. Both Port Angeles and Swim area, if you are out and about, it's busy, but not too bad out there. You should be able to get around pretty much the speed limit all the way around. A few slow spots around town, but overall should be a good afternoon to get around and do your things today. If you're on Highway 101 between Port Angeles and Sequim right now, no real issues out there as well. Traffic is moving right along at the speed limit. No real slowdowns, except our construction area there at Lee's Creek and Baker Dep. That is a little bit slow going. Also, the Walmart area and then Carlsberg Road at the stoplight there. Beyond that, though, you should be doing just fine. If you're headed out beyond Sequim, Hookenau Bridge, good to go with no scheduled marine openings. And state ferries are running on time today. If you're headed out to the west end, right now 101's in good shape all the way out to the Forks area. No real issues out there. Traffic is moving along pretty smoothly right now. And just a reminder, Monday, or Sunday actually, but Monday the main service starts. Our new bus service, new routes, and all kinds of things going on. You'll like those routes much better if you ride the bus, and if you don't, you should give it a try. It's free, and that's a whole lot cheaper than a gallon of gas. So everybody, you take care and be safe. This is Steve reporting live from Clallam Transit for KONP.
All right, thank you, Steve. All right, a quarter of adults have forgotten how to work out either fractions or percentages. And even fewer remember how to calculate the mean, the median, or the mode. Here's a refresher for you. The mean is the average that you're used to. That's where you add up all the numbers, then divide them by the number of numbers. The median is the middle. That's the middle value in a list of numbers. And the mode is the value that occurs most often. And if no number is repeated, then there is no mode for that list of numbers. Now you know.
For many people, the flu feels like a miserable but short-lived viral infection, but for others, it can turn serious and even deadly. In 2023, 1 in 5 U.S. deaths from lower respiratory infections, including pneumonia, were linked to the flu, according to a World Health Organization report. Tens of thousands of people die from flu complications each year. The risk is highest for young children, pregnant women, older adults, and people with chronic conditions such as asthma, diabetes, and heart or lung disease. Experts say getting a flu shot every year can help prevent severe illness and protect both you and those around you. See a doctor if you develop fever, chills, cough, sore throat, runny nose, body aches, headache, or extreme fatigue, or if you notice warning signs of pneumonia, like trouble breathing or coughing up thick phlegm. The CDC also recommends frequent hand washing, covering coughs and sneezes, and avoiding close contact with people who are sick. These simple steps can help slow the spread of flu and other respiratory illnesses. With this Medical Minute, I'm Jacqueline Lee.
This is News Radio KONP.
Up next, a Consumer Tech Minute from Kim Commando.
Yesterday, OpenAI, the owners of ChatGPT, decided to back away from ambitious plans to convince us all to book our flights, hotels, rental cars, and in fact, make virtually all of our purchases directly through the AI. But now they have another plan. It's even worse. I'm Kim Commando for LinkedIn. For small businesses, every hire matters. Get $100 off your first job post with LinkedIn Hiring Pro at linkedin.com/Kim. In ChatGPT's latest idea, you'll still buy literally everything through it, but the AI will then push all your purchases into third-party apps. Here's the problem. Since its latest update, ChatGPT is horrible. Instead of factual answers, it's more likely to shoot from the hip, to throw out a quick answer. Some are right, many wrong. Confront it, and it's going to apologize and find the correct answer. But since I can't trust it with simple questions, why would I, or anyone else, trust it to shop and find the best deal for me? Speaking of AI, you need to try out my free newsletter, splashofai.com. It's free, splashofai.com. For small businesses, every single hire matters. But finding the right person can take time and energy you just don't have. That's where LinkedIn Hiring Pro comes in. It's like having a smart hiring partner that helps you focus on the candidates who are a great fit, so you can hire with confidence. I know firsthand how time-consuming hiring can be. You're running a business, wearing a dozen hats, and you're sorting through countless applications, trying to spot that right person. Posting a job is easy. It's the finding, connecting, and screening applicants that you don't have time for. LinkedIn Hiring Pro handles it all for you, writing the job description, finding top candidates, even conducting AI-powered first interviews. Forget digging through countless resumes. Hire right the first time. Post your first job and get $100 off your job post at linkedin.com/Kim. That's linkedin.com/Kim. Terms and conditions apply. This is a total game changer. Don't miss out. Post your first job and get $100 off right now at linkedin.com/Kim.
I'm John Tesh. Coming up, I'll review the most common productivity killers at work and tell you what you can do about them. Next, today's Intelligence for Your Life in Minutes.
I'm U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy. We all seem to be in a rush these days, from work to driving our kids around. But when you're behind the wheel, please do not speed. A few minutes saved by going faster is never worth the risk. So follow the speed limit, enjoy the drive, maybe bring some snacks for the kids, and know that along the way, you're getting quality time with your family.
Paid for by NHTSA.
Turns out our work environment could be killing our productivity. Here's how to get our workspace to work for us. First, turn up the lights. Psychologist Dr. Paul Hokemeyer says around mid-afternoon, our bodies try to go into recharge mode, which makes us sleepy, but we can temporarily hijack that urge by increasing the amount of light we're exposed to. So just turn on an extra desk lamp or walk outside. That tricks your body into feeling more energized. Another productivity killer is stale indoor air. It causes a significant drop in brain function, so try using a portable desk-sized air purifier. Research shows that will boost cognitive performance by up to 26%. And then a Career Builders survey found when air is too hot or too cold, workers make more errors and are less productive. So what's the ideal working temperature? We make the fewest errors and are most productive when the thermostat is set to 72 degrees. I'm John Tesh with today's Intelligence for Your Life Minute.
This afternoon on the Todd Ortloff Show, Clallam County Commissioners Randy Johnson and Mike French join Sheriff Brian King. They're talking medical services at the county jail, plus a business bit with Kevin Holt.
Join us at 1 o'clock Monday through Thursday for the Todd Ortloff Show on KONP. Information to keep you engaged in your community with the people and organizations who keep it running. Sponsored by Dan Shappy, Farmers Insurance.
Come out to Olympic Game Farm. It's the home of the waving bears. Come out to Olympic Game Farm for some tender love and care. Now it's not impolite to stick out your tongue, considering the critters you'll be among. Come out to Olympic Game Farm. It's the home of the waving bears. The llama and the yak know you want to come back, and the tiger always gets a few stares. Come out to Olympic Game Farm. It's the home of the waving bears.
The North Peninsula's news, the North Peninsula's talk. News Radio KONP, Port Angela Squim, a Radio Pacific station.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. A heavy police presence at the Temple Israel in West Bloomfield near Detroit. Authorities say a man intentionally ran his vehicle into the synagogue. Oakland County Sheriff Michael Bouchard says a school is also located inside the building, but no one was injured.
He breached the building, drove down the hall, and he was engaged by security.
Police say the man was met by security and is dead. ABC's Aaron Kotursky has more.
The sheriff says the truck driver drove with purpose down the hall before the vehicle stopped and was engaged by synagogue security personnel. It's not immediately clear whether the individual was shot and killed by the security guards, whether the fire killed him, whether he killed himself. He has not been identified.
In Virginia today, a man suspected of carrying out the shooting at Old Dominion University is believed to be Mohammed Jalal, who was previously convicted in 2016 of attempting to provide material support to ISIS. That according to two sources familiar with the matter telling ABC News. Norfolk police say one victim died, 2 others injured. The gunman is also dead. Jalal, a former member of the Army National Guard, was sentenced to 11 years in 2017 and released in December of 2024, according to Bureau of Prisons records. The incidents come as law enforcement around the country remain on heightened alert due to the ongoing war in Iran. Today, Iran's new supreme leader relayed his first message read by a newsreader on Iranian TV. He was reportedly injured in the same strikes that killed his father, the late Ayatollah. Here's ABC's Marcus Moore.
The sheriff says
one of the things he said is that the Strait of Hormuz will remain closed, and he also suggested that they have considered and looked at opening other fronts of the war and exploiting areas where the enemies, as he's described them, have little experience. And he said that there would be areas that are vulnerable to them.
You're listening to ABC News.
You've probably heard all those ads for life insurance. Just a few dollars a day, apply online in minutes, no medical exam. Simple, easy, and cheap, right? Now you're thinking, maybe I should get a quote. Well, smart thinking. Everyone should have life insurance. But here's what they don't tell you. Those few dollars a day rates, they're for young people in perfect health. That's why everyone calls Big Lou the 50 to 60-year-old not-so-perfect candidate. Like you. You take prescription meds and you're overweight. Winner, winner, fried chicken dinner. Well, Big Lou works with life insurance companies that want people like you, with no surprises after you apply. In fact, if you're a 50-year-old guy with a few health glitches, Lou could probably find you $1 million of term life coverage for about $200 a month. So, yeah, you need life insurance. But unless you're young and healthy, you gotta call Big Lou, because he's like you, older, heavier, and on meds, too. Get a quote right now at 800-230-2777, 800-230-2777, or biglou.com.
TSA workers on the job without pay in this partial government shutdown will receive their paychecks for the first pay period with no money. Now others are stepping up to help. TSA agent Aaron Barker is a union rep at the airport in Atlanta and says of his colleagues,
they are having to make very tough decisions as to, do I put gas in my car to report to work? Do I pay my daycare bill? I mean, they don't even have the money to do that.
This weekend, the people searching your bags and making sure you're safe in the skies will get paychecks totaling $0. The partial government shutdown so bad that several airports, including those in Las Vegas, Denver, and Cleveland, are opening food banks and handing out grocery store gift cards to those in need. Sherry Preston, ABC News. A giant predator from Africa gaining ground in Florida, and wildlife officials are trying to stop it before it spreads elsewhere.
The Nile monitor lizard can grow to about 6 feet and is known for being strong and aggressive and hard to capture. Scientists say the species arrived through the pet trade and thrives in Florida's warm, humid climate. They're not picky eaters. They'll hunt whatever's near: fish, birds, reptiles, even eggs from threatened species. Florida now lists the Nile monitor as a prohibited non-native species and is working to track and remove them before they can cause lasting damage. Dave Packer, ABC News.
Weather whiplash, the East Coast getting another dose of winter. Snow falling in Washington, D.C., as well as New York City. The Carolinas will get heavy winds today. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
As each season changes, one thing stays the same. Airport Garden Center is always here to help your yard and garden grow. Airport Garden Center opened for business in 1977 as a pet, plant, and feed store by Eldora and Floyd Matthews. The family-run operation continues with Mark and Betsy Matthews passionately managing the business to this day. Their family provides your family quality service, products, and expert advice for a fun, rewarding, pet and child-friendly shopping atmosphere. We love helping you plan next season by offering monthly special savings too. Go to airportgarden.biz for current specials and seasonal classes and events, or just stop on by our spacious indoor-outdoor garden center on Edgewood Drive in Port Angeles to chat with the experts. Airport Garden Center, planting knowledge, growing gardeners since 1977.
KONP News brought to you by RE/MAX Evergreen Real Estate. Outstanding agents, outstanding results. 457-6600. A wanted felon in custody after an hours-long standoff in Agnew. Deputies say 52-year-old Kitsap County resident Patrick Nelson surrendered Wednesday evening after hiding in the attic of a short-term rental. The investigation began, though, after a property owner earlier reported firearms and drug paraphernalia left behind by some renters. 2 of the guns later confirmed to be stolen. Nearby homes in Agnew evacuated as a precaution before Nelson eventually surrendered peacefully. A second man, 50-year-old Johnny Watts of Port Angeles, also was arrested after deputies reportedly found him at the scene with a loaded handgun and suspected drugs in his pocket.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by Olympic Game Farm. Rain likely this afternoon, otherwise overcast. Highs level off around 43, west winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Cloudy again tonight, rain likely early, then becoming mixed precipitation. Lows level off around 33. Mixed precipitation likely, changing to all rain tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 42, cloudy skies expected. Mid-40s Saturday, low 40s by Sunday. A peek at the extended shows, 52 Monday, 55 Tuesday, and 56 on Wednesday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently, it's 41 degrees.
It's the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP. Now, here's Todd.
Hey, welcome to the show. Got a lot to cover today in the first half of the program. We're going to talk a bit about jail and juvenile services, and it's kind of a new twist that has happened with it, a combination of things and an update of sorts of some things we've covered in the news in the past year or so. We welcome to the studio among all three of, I'll introduce everybody, and then we'll get to each of them individually here in a minute. Clallam County Commissioner Mike French is here, and Clallam County Sheriff Brian King joins us, and Madison Galantine, who's the clinic director, who's going to talk a bit about the clinical services that are going on as well. So we're going to go to the sheriff first because this is under his purview because it has to do with the jail. Let's talk a bit about kind of what has happened in this merging of providing clinical services for both juvenile and the jail. And the other part of it, too, is a lot of folks maybe not understand that you're kind of mandated to provide these types of services anyway. So it isn't like you could say we're not going to do it because it costs too much.
That's absolutely, excuse me. That's absolutely correct, Todd. We have a constitutional and statutory responsibility to provide medical care to those who are in the carceral setting. And so it's kind of a funky evolution that occurred when I became sheriff. There was already a challenge with the cost of our provider, which at the time was a company known as WellPath. And so they were providing nursing services in the jail. And we quickly saw the escalation of costs associated with that. So in 2023, I approached the board and I said, we're looking at a price point to where we could actually hire our own nurses, provide the service, and actually maybe double our nursing staff with the cost that WellPath was putting forward. And so with that presentation, the commissioner said, hey, that's a good idea. Try doing that, and we did that. Soon following that, in early 2024, we began to hear about the Medicaid transformation project. So an 1115 waiver that would allow us to bill for Medicaid services in the carceral setting. And so traditionally, prior to this waiver, the county bore the cost of all medical associated with medical care in the jail. And so we're like, and nobody ever knew why the rule was in place in the first place. We arrest somebody, their Medicaid gets suspended, and the county bears the cost of this. So everything sounded great, plus the additional level of care we could provide to reduce liability and get those revenues back and here back in the county. It's almost like you're paying, the county taxpayer is paying twice.
Right.
You're paying for Medicaid, and then we're paying for your care once you get arrested because I get suspended. And so it was all that combination of things along with really what we thought was going to be improved service.
I think it's very interesting. We've talked about the Medicaid thing in the past on previous shows. A lot of folks don't understand that suspension that happens when somebody may be Medicaid eligible when they're out on the street. All of a sudden they're not, at least for the time they're in your custody.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's really transformational with this project, too, is that folks that come into custody are Medicaid eligible and they've never applied for the service in the first place. And so Madison's team is also getting hooked up with the services.
Well, and that's probably a good thing, too. In Madison, that gets them probably some needed services because I know a lot of this has, there's a social impact that happens with this. They serve their time, they're out, and next thing you know, they are needing meds or they need some sort of treatment, they're right back into trouble.
Yeah, so the idea of the program is we're starting to set up all of their primary care, dental, vision, medications, pharmacies. We get them case managers on the outside. We set them up while they're currently incarcerated so that way once they're released, they have a better chance of not having to come back to jail and continuing with the services that they started while incarcerated, because we can start them with telehealth, behavioral mental health therapy. We get them started on SUD treatment. Really, it's about preparing them to enter the community again in the best possible way.
It seems to me, I mean, maybe it's anecdotal, but I would think there are probably some people that would reoffend just to get back into jail because they are sick. I mean, they need treatment. It was the only way they're getting it before.
Right.
And this may help them not have to do that because they're continuing there.
One of the great things we've been able to do is connect people with like Hep C treatment and testing. We've been able to restart patients on their HIV meds, which is really important because we want to make sure that their levels stay below detectable, below that 200 level. And that medication is almost $8,000 a month.
Wow.
So it's not really feasible for them to be able to do this on their own. So by us being able to restart that, and then we release them with a 30-day supply, and then we connect them with primary care, and we set up a follow-up appointment with their doctor. The other thing that we're doing, which is I think really cool, is we've partnered with Known to run some of our sick calls. So by doing that, we are establishing care with Known for that patient.
So some of these folks can come out with a primary contact or a primary physician, whatever it might be.
Yeah, so we ask them if they have primary care. If not, where would you like to go? And Known as an FQHC, so they see all of the Medicaid clients in our community. So whenever they have a sick call appointment, and you're building that trust already because trust is a big issue with our population. And they already know this doctor, they've seen them already, and they know that they can trust to go to this same provider once they're released.
As the sheriff mentioned, you're able to increase staff in this as well. So address that a little bit, too.
Yeah, so one of the benefits is we're able to get reimbursed from Medicaid. You know, you're not going to get rich off of Medicaid, but it does allow for us to essentially pay for a lot of that staff that we're having. So we have care coordinators, we have targeted case managers, mental health staff, and our nursing. So we kind of attack it from kind of all angles. We have the medical side and the behavioral health side working together as a team to make sure that we meet all of those social needs. Sometimes they, don't have clothing whenever they release, shoes. So whenever we get their case managers, like we work with Known a lot. We work with YMCA, Peninsula Behavioral Health. We'll work with them. They can drop off shoes, coats, whatever they need for once they're released, hygiene products, because a lot of our population is unhoused. So getting them set up from kind of every angle we could think of and identify with them is really just the goal of reducing the recidivism and getting them in long-term care.
So this has been going on about a year or so. Have you seen, maybe it's too soon to really tell, but tell us, is this making an impact? Are you seeing fewer people get back in, or if you do encounter them again, they are, I'll use quote-unquote healthier, just simply because they've been able to take care of themselves?
Yeah, it's a little too soon to be able to measure whether we have that reduced recidivism rate. We are doing kind of... we made a form, and we're asking inmates whenever they arrive to jail if they've been incarcerated before or after services. Okay. So we're getting anecdotal information back of how were your services before, how were they after we started the program. And so far, everything seems to be really positive, that they feel a lot more supported. They're set up a lot better once they are released. Numbers-wise, I don't have... recidivism rates yet.
Right.
It is something we're trying to track.
Year or so in.
One of the things I look at is, how that connection to care occurs and what the success of that is. And so, particularly with Peninsula Behavioral Health, where we've made that connection 46 times in just the first 6 months, where we can watch that continuity of care. So what we can see is that they're actually engaging with PBH because of that warm handoff, and they're actually following up with PBH. And so they're, they're maintaining their mental health, and we don't see the returns on those folks. And so those are really strengths of the program. And then to, the tracking component of the recidivism, One of the things I haven't mentioned yet is, as part of this transformation project and building up to having the clinic, the county was awarded between jail and juvenile services over $4 million to make, to be able to have this clinic. And one of the components that we need to incorporate, and again, in my wildest imaginations, I never thought that I'd be a sheriff and working on building a clinic,
a medical clinic, essentially.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, it's taken a lot of outreach and getting a lot of advice and having great community partners like Known, who's like saying this is how we need to build this thing out. But the benefits of the program too are, we have a very antiquated jail software system. And these systems are really expensive. And so as part of the grant, we're going to be able to build a jail management system that is able to track these things much more. Because really we're looking at those performance measures, especially years down the road, on whether we're actually achieving reduced recidivism. But the other aspect too, the plus side of all of this, is our ability to recapture our costs for services.
Because the way this works is you get this in a reimbursement setting. I mean, this is so this stuff happens after the fact. You have to go chase that money back again, and that's, I guess, the one caveat of this.
In all aspects of it, you have the grant, and then you have medical billing. Mm-hmm. And our biggest challenge, and if you talk to any clinic, is how do we maximize our reimbursements? And we know we're better off now than where we started. And part of our challenges is with the HCA and this Medicaid waiver and the date they wanted to start the transformation project. They weren't ready. The state wasn't ready. We were ready. We had built a plan. We built a plan that was going to work. And then we got to the point to where, okay, we're putting that plan into motion. Oh, wait, you're not ready for us to start reimbursing. So we're relying heavily on the grant
until you get the other part to work.
Until we get the other part to work. But just today, before we came on the air, I go like, let's get some new numbers. And just in the first 2 months of this year, we've clawed back $100,000. So $100,000 that the county would have paid to provide this level of care, because we have to provide.
You can't say no. This has to happen.
You can't say no. So we're looking at, we're getting better at that component. And at the rate of reimbursements that we're getting, I mean, my goal in a year is like, we were to the point to where the county, it costs us roughly $1 million a year to provide jail medical. If I can recapture $1 million a year, then I know we're doing something good. The added bonus of all this is the work that Madison is doing, and just continuously to improve those services, because at the same time that we're improving those services, we're reducing recidivism, and our liability as a county goes down. Because I tell you what, the jail is the highest liability component in county government.
We talked about this way back when you first announced this on this show, is that is a component here, is that some people, if they're released out of jail and something happens to them, there have been lawsuits, not necessarily here, but in lots of places.
Lots of places, and that's, there's conversations always occurring around the county and across our state in the realm of costs to our risk insurance, and they just continue to escalate. And then you see a $22 million lawsuit at the Spokane jail for in custody death, and like you begin to understand, why our premiums are going up so much. And so all a part of this effort is to keep people safe, to treat those in our jail setting, which 80% of our jail has a diagnosed substance use or mental health condition. And we know that I call our jail oftentimes just the biggest ER in the county. Right. And that's how we operate.
Talk a little bit about one of the things that was, I'll say, controversial, was this bringing the juvenile in under the same umbrella, and how that works. Because you can't put them directly together, but you are providing similar services under this new program.
Yeah, no, and It was a challenge because it's trying to say how do we combine clinical services so we don't have, we're not hiring folks just for juvenile services to provide the care that they need, and we're not just hiring folks just for the jail. Let's have this combined services model. So essentially, the idea of being able to dispatch where the need is with a core group of folks, and so trying to balance workloads, I think, was really important to do. I will tell you that initially in the project, the two departments were separated. I was actually talking about this on your show, yes. And the county administrator heard me talking about it, and he gave me a call and said, "You want to have lunch at Taco Time?" And so he just kind of approached me with a novel concept, and I go like, "Oh, I think that can work, and I think that it can, again, save county taxpayer dollars and improve services at the county." Good idea. I'm for it, but we have to have a lot of conversations, and that's where we are today. And our success, and really, it's Madison's success at Juvenile Services when we look at, how many touches she's had with the kiddos out there. It's really quite amazing.
And Madison, I'll just go to you because it is a different kind of services required there. I think that was some of the concern was, okay, do you hire the same people? Can they do that? Because a juvenile health, mental health issues and things like that can be way different than when you're talking about the adults. So address that a bit.
Yeah, and the added layer of working with parents and guardians.
Sure.
On top of not just, what's best for the kid, what does the parent want as well. We were fortunate to have a lot of the team members from Juvenile Services work in clinical services, so they were already familiar with the facility and they know a lot of the kids, so that really helped the process kind of streamline. Yeah. So we really didn't change too much for how things were going. It's just connecting the juveniles more with facilities in the community versus internally. We still have mental health go out and talk with the kids, see how they're doing, see what they need every day. We have nursing there about 3 days a week, and then on call as needed. Sure. Generally, it's a healthier population than the adults, but it's kind of, I think, due to the great team that we've had has been fairly successful.
It's been a bit of an easier transition perhaps than it might have been.
Right. Instead of going in blind, we had some guides.
What about the Medicaid component of that on the juvenile side? Because we're talking about kids, right? They're not 18. They're not, they're not signed up. So how does that work as far as any recoupment of funds?
So actually, the juveniles are all eligible for Medicaid. So if their parents don't have private insurance, they will 100% have insurance.
Okay.
And we've really not encountered any cases where we've had to sign any of them up. The other difference is it never got turned off whenever the juveniles were incarcerated.
So they never got put on hold, quote unquote, like
Correct.
you do in the adult jail. Okay.
So that part was nice as well because it was a big lift on the adult side of enrolling right at the start of the program, enrolling all of the clients that we had in the jail, whereas juveniles were already kind of set and ready to go.
Brian, does this program go away? Are we in a pilot phase of this? What happens next? I mean, you could have this rolling and what happens. And I think the follow-up to that is what's going on with the conversation about Medicaid funding and all of that at the federal level and the state level.
Yeah, I've been closely watching the movement around the 1115 waiver. There had been some conversations about some clawback. It hasn't happened yet. It's tough to say what that's going to look like. I mean, I'm under the philosophy that we're all in, that we are going to work over the course of the next year as if the waiver is going to continue, with the hope that we get to a point to where we are running a clinic that is largely dependent on that Medicaid reimbursement, so that we get to a point where the county doesn't bear that burden. I mean, we're already we're already paying for it. And I mean, and that's the most important thing. We're already paying for this. Why does our local taxpayers have to pay for it again twice? And so I think I'm confident that if we can show, and the other carceral facilities across the state can show that success, then it's going to be very difficult to claw back. And so Madison's meeting weekly. Don Wenzel, our jail superintendent, is meeting weekly with the commanders, and we're all keeping an eye on how this is working. We're all working together across the state to make sure I'm proud to say that we are in the lead amongst other jails. I mean, jails are looking to us, and I think our success was identifying the project early and then saying, okay, we have to do all of our work. I mean, we have people to go out and to arrest and put into jail and do all of the traditional functions that a sheriff's office does. We need to get some help with a consultant, a subject matter expert. We had one in Rich Meyer. He's done a lot of great projects for the county in the past. He's created a lot of relationships with the sheriff's office. So as soon as this came down, I said, hey, we're all busy. We don't have the capacity to do this. Let's use some of that grant dollars to go hire Rich to do our plan, to get it together. And he connected us with our managed care organizations and our local known and all the other clinics in town to kind of create our plan. And then Madison is now in the execution phase and doing a wonderful job.
All right. Last word from the county commissioner in the room, because this was a budget thing. And I remember watching the work session talks about this. Just your thoughts, Mike, about it from the larger policy level of stuff.
So
it's a lot of money.
It is. This is an area, though, where Sheriff King came to the board and said, we think we can provide a higher level of service and save the county money in the long run. And then he showed his work. And so I think it was easy for us to come on board with that vision. There's a lot of those details about how do you take two departments and create this shared services model. That was tricky. There was a lot of work that went into that, a lot of relationship work and a lot of on the ground work. At the end of the day, we're talking about a population in our jails that their health outcomes have not been going in the right direction. If you ask people from a decade ago, if we'd be in this position where it's where our inmates are a lot more likely to have a mental health diagnosis or a substance use diagnosis, we weren't going in the right direction. So the ability to provide that higher level of service so that we could affect, not only the client's health, but also hopefully their recidivism rate. And at the same time, as we've talked about, that risk that the county is on the hook for, that's a really big deal to us. That's a big budget deal. So, it's not just about that. It's about all of these outcomes. And at the end of the day, there's something in this idea that is very common sense. When someone is in a county jail, that's an opportunity for them to experience accountability and some consequences. And that's where we should be making some interventions in what's your future look like. And so the ability to have the staff to do that, that's something that we haven't always had, right? We've been providing a level of service that we could afford and we thought was necessary to, for what we could do, but we have more resources because of this program. And I think that we're going to see that investment pay off in the future.
All right. Thanks for coming in and sharing a little update on this whole thing. It's kind of interesting. We'll, I'm sure, have you back for maybe a further update as some of those numbers come in. That's County Commissioner Mike French there. Mike, good to see you again.
Good to see you.
As well. We also have the clinic director now for this whole jail services thing. Madison Galantine is here, and also Sheriff Brian King joining us. Thanks all three of you for sharing some insight as to what's happening with the health more than just health. It's mental health services, dental, vision, all sorts of things going on through both juvenile services and the Clallam County Jail. Here we're going to take a break and be back with more in just a moment.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP.
Hi, this is John Hull. I'm president of Tri-State Roofing, your local and family-owned company covering the entire Olympic Peninsula area. The difference with Tri-State Roofing is we separate ourselves with the quality of products we offer, customer service, including an A+ rating with the BBB, solid safety plans, and the best labor guarantees around. Call 360-208-2222.
Tri-State Roofing, we got you covered.
it's time for new asphalt paving for your dirt, gravel, or damaged driveway, now's the time to call Lakeside Industries for a free estimate. They've been serving this community since 1982 with city, county, and highway projects, of course. But did you know that they do residential and commercial grading, paving, and stormwater too? Well, they're scheduling spring and summer jobs right now, and no job is too small. Just call Lakeside Industries, 452-7803, or lakesideindustries.com.
The seasons are what makes life interesting in the Great Northwest. This is Dale from Wilder Auto, and wouldn't you agree there's just something very special about March? Not only do we get to spring forward, but it's also about new beginnings. If you're in the market for a new or used car, truck, SUV, or van, we'd love a chance to earn your business. Let's bring on spring, so march on down or check us out 24/7 at wilderauto.com.
Hey there, Dawn Riling with Olympic Hot Tub. We're showing you the green for St. Patty's Day. Right now, find your pot of gold with exciting savings on saltwater hot tubs. Best of all, you'll get 5 full years to pay for it interest-free. Wow! Don't let your luck run out. This limited event ends St. Patrick's Day. Visit us today at olympichottub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub.
It's time for your monthly Market Minute with critical insights from local real estate pro May Graves.
If you lose more money at the closing table than you saved by skipping the realtor, did you actually save anything at all? Hi, I'm May Graves with Real Estate Market Pros. In 2024, for sale by owner home sales accounted for only 6% of all homes sold according to National Association of Realtors. But in 2025, that figure dropped even more to 5%, the lowest on record. But wait, there's more. According to NAR, it was also reported in the 2025 data that for sale by owner homes sold roughly for 18% less than sellers who used an agent. And they still had to do all the work of showing their home to potentially unqualified buyers and navigate complex contracts. If you're thinking about selling and curious about the process, call me. It's May Graves, Real Estate Market Pros. 360-461-1922.
Good sleep is vital to your health. If you're tired of not getting good sleep, discover the Superior Sleep Experience. Superior Sleep is the #1 adjustable bed, supporting you head to toe with the best comfort and best sleep experience possible at the guaranteed lowest price. Superior Sleep is factory direct, which means factory direct pricing with the assurance of a 25-year warranty. Come experience Superior Sleep this weekend at the KONP Home Show.
All right, welcome back to the program. We're going to spend just a few minutes talking about busting up some Scotch broom around these parts. This is a program I've talked about in the past here, and it is a very organized volunteer effort that also includes a fundraising element as well that's happening through the Dungeness River Nature Center. So we're going to talk about the broom busters, especially along the Olympic Discovery Trail, with Michael Glore, who is the new executive director at the Nature Center, and also Greta Davis, who's very much involved in all of this as well. They're well underway, and they're both joining us on the phone here this afternoon. Thanks, guys, for coming on. And I'll just throw it out there generally. Who wants to explain exactly what's going on with the broom busters this year?
Well, I think that's probably for Greta to explain.
Okay, Greta, take it.
Thanks. Yes, so it's our 14th year of broom busting, taking out Scotch broom by the roots in the month of March on Wednesdays in the morning. And the soil has been nice and lubricated, so the roots come out pretty darn easily. And we borrow the tools, mostly from the Clallam County Noxious Weed Board, some from the Dungeness River Nature Center, and some from individuals and the Peninsula Trails Coalition, as well as their high visibility vests, which is always nice to have because there's a lot of activity on the Discovery Trail.
And what you've done is you've kind of divided up the ODT into sections. You're already well underway here, but give us a kind of a feel as to how much Scotch broom is growing along the trail this time.
So it's easy to spot because it's an evergreen plant, and it's even easier to spot in the summertime when the beautiful yellow flowers are in bloom. But it's harder to take out with the methods that I prefer to use because the ground is hard and dried out. So you have less success of getting the full root out and leaving some of it still in the ground.
And also, you don't want the seeds to start spreading around either, too, right? So the sooner you get them out, the better, right?
Absolutely, yeah. The seeds can stay viable in the ground for 60 years, and an adult plant can spew out 16,000 of them and 6 feet in all directions. It's pretty bizarre.
Now, I was surprised that I just learned this is the 14th year you all have been doing this as an organized event. This has taken on its own life. Michael.
Yeah, and no, I was just going to say it really has taken on its own life, and Greta and her fellow supporters of the River Center have been doing this for 14 years, and to me, it's kind of the perfect expression of our mission. Our mission is one of education and stewardship, and it's just really inspiring. Here we have this volunteer community members engaging in active stewardship to improve the health and beauty of this amazing place we live in, while also raising money to create further opportunities here at the River Center for environmental education in our community. So this is just what we want to see. This is like kind of the dream coming true. So it's amazing that it's been going on this long.
So let's talk about the fundraising part of this as well, because this is also why we have you on today. You want some folks to make some donations. How does this work? Explain a bit how you're making this into a fundraiser each year.
Well, it's kind of referred to as a peer-to-peer fundraiser, and rather than someone like me at the River Center, soliciting donations from the public, our supporters are doing that for us. And in the Broombuster case, what they're doing is they're using their own networks of friends and peers to make pledges to these efforts, like this one for busting broom. And so they raise money that way, and then that money comes directly to the River Center. We're a nonprofit, so every dollar helps keep the doors open, helps us make sure we can keep offering these educational opportunities. And so this is a really unique and fun way for our supporters to be actively engaged in that process.
Greta, do you literally go out and ask people like donate by the pound? I mean, how do you make an ask for a donation?
Well, and I have, ever since I started, have had Julie and Dave Jackson. They did per plant, so we do keep count.
So there's a little bit of all right. So the more you pull, the better you do.
That
right?
Yeah. And majority of people just go online on our website and do the donation that way, just a flat-out donation.
Right, and we should
Some
tell
people have been super-duper kind.
And just go to DungenessRiverCenter.org, correct? And you've got a link there, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
there's a big blue banner.
Okay, because we want to raise some money here. You got a goal of about $5,000, and that goes into all sorts of great things that go on with the River Center as well. Greta, before we let you go, what is that? Scotch broom is really tough to pull. You in all of these years have probably mastered this in some ways, but explain to us: is there a trick to this that you might share with people that might be doing this on their own property?
So the tool that works best can be borrowed from the Clallam County Noxious Weed Board in Port Angeles. They're happy to loan out their tools. It comes in small, medium, and large size, depending on the plant that you're trying to eradicate. And it's a fulcrum method that just doesn't take all that much effort. The trick is to clamp onto the plant and then pull it back down onto the ground.
All right.
A weed wrench is what we call it.
Yeah, a weed wrench, right. Okay,
Yep.
That's what I was going to say. That's the name of it is a weed wrench. You've got 2 more Wednesdays that you're heading. Oh, go ahead, Greta, go ahead.
Yes. No, I was going to say there are some other tools that have come into creation, and Polar Bear and Eradicator are some other ones that people can purchase. And the Noxious Weed Board does have weed wrenches and the Polar Bears.
All right. The key, though, is you got to get these out from the root, because that's the only way you'll eradicate them. They don't. You can't just cut them back. You can't do anything like that.
Well, you can cut them. If you cut them, if the plant is a 2-inch diameter, cut them in the heat of the summer when they're in full bloom before they go to seed. they've expended all their energy, and you cut it down to the ground, and that should do it. I've tried it back in 2022 with the group. We did it in June, and it was just so hard. Everything else is already grown. The blackberry bushes are out to attack you, and I just couldn't get my head down into the ground and the dirt and the weeds and the pollen. I was having a hard time.
All right.
This is easier way for me to do it.
You're out for a couple more Wednesdays for polling, right?
Yes.
So if I'm looking at your schedule, this coming Wednesday down Discovery, White Feather Way area down in the Squim area, and then you're going to actually be here in the Port Angeles spot your last Wednesday on the 25th between 18th Street Milwaukee Drive spot as well. Can folks show up and join you?
So there is an online registration for that as well at the Dungeness River.
So if you want to get out on a good cause, learn how to pull these things and get outside, get a little exercise, that's a great way to do it as well. Well, good luck. I appreciate that you're out there doing it because those things, those are nasty buggers. That's what I. The sooner we can get out of here, the better. It's been a pleasure talking with Michael Glore. He's the new executive director at the Dungeness River Nature Center, and we'll get you back, Michael, to talk just generally about things at the center very soon. And Greta Davis, who's been at this weed pulling thing for a long time. She's part of the Broom Busters crew that are out on Wednesdays through March doing this. And if you want more info and you want to help donate or maybe even sign up to volunteer and pull a few of these, go to the DungenessRiverCenter.org website, and you can find out more info there. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to be back with one more segment on our show right after this.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP.
Hello, this is Katie McCormick with Squim Valley and Harper Ridgeview Funeral Chapels. I'd like to take a moment to tell you about a new, exciting, and environmentally friendly development in the funeral industry. It's called Natural Organic Reduction, or terramation. Perhaps you've heard of it. Terramation is a process in which the body, after death, is returned to the earth in a carbon-neutral, eco-friendly manner. The process takes place in a controlled environment, and all that remains is a natural, odorless, compost-like material. If you would like more information about terramation and advanced planning, call us today at Harper Ridgeview in Port Angeles or Squim Valley Chapel in Squim, and one of our knowledgeable and caring funeral professionals will assist you in answering your questions. Harper Ridgeview and Squim Valley Funeral Chapels, because your loved ones deserve the best.
What's really in your water? Hi, this is Sidian Kaufman, owner of Pure Water Northwest. Call us for a free in-home water test to tell you exactly what is in your water and how you can get better than bottled water right from your tap. From whole home filtration and water softening to 5-stage reverse osmosis systems, we are the only licensed water treatment company in Western Washington, so we can help you with all your plumbing needs as well.
Call 360-908-8947 or purewaternorthwest.com.
Looking for the next place to call home? Come tour Lavender Meadows in Squim.
I had been looking at this great community here. Lavender Meadows stands way above the others.
Dennis and his wife found more than just a home.
One of my favorite things we have here is we have a community garden. We can grow tomatoes and just all kinds of greens. Our radishes were fabulous.
Come meet your new neighbors at Lavender Meadows. Our modern, low-maintenance homes give you more time to enjoy your life. Go to lavendermeadowsmhc.com.
All right, back with one more segment. It is Thursday, and our last segment dedicated to our business guru, Kevin Holt, and Business Bits. Kevin, good to see you again.
Always
Seems
a
like
pleasure.
it's been a whole 4 or 5 hours, but there we go. Kevin's going to be in to talk a little bit. Well, we got all sorts of little things to go, and he's going to show you how you too can easily start a business.
Well, you know, we're going to first
least
look
market
at
one.
Yes, we're going to look at how maybe you shouldn't, and then maybe what you could do. But first, we'll just have a little dash into Merton's Law for those who haven't heard us discuss Merton. Merton's Law is also known as the law of unintended consequences. We had a problem, we implemented a fix, and we made the problem worse. Our state legislators have been on a Merton binge since 2017. And this year, after Fred Meyer closed 5 stores in King, Pierce, and Snohomish County, bills were brought to the floor to penalize grocers for closing stores. My favorite was a $500,000 closing penalty. My question? How many new stores do you think will be built after bills like that are passed?
Yeah, first thing I'm going to do is I'm not building one there because if I have to close it, that's not going
right.
to.
Yeah, reducing business flexibility is not how you stimulate an economy.
Yeah.
And, it's there's 49 other states to expand in if you're a grocer. You don't need to pay attention to this weird little outlier out here. So that's not just legislatures who fall victim to the allure of the impossible dream. The so-called gig economy has room for Merton, too. We talked about influencers last time, and today we're going to take a look at a popular fallback for those who are looking to make extra money, food delivery. Let's look at food delivery with Merton Vision. Put my Merton Vision glasses on here. So drivers on platforms like DoorDash and Uber Eats report gross earnings of around $15 to $25 per hour. Now, first of all, that's quite a range, but that's the PR. Hey, $15 to $25 an hour. Tips and bonuses actually make up about half of those earnings. So it's $15 to $25 an hour, including your tips and bonuses.
Yeah, okay.
And that's after the platform skims 30% right off the top. But that's gross income before vehicle costs. An easy way to estimate vehicle costs is to use the IRS personal car reimbursement rate. This year's rate is 72.5 cents a mile, which is very high.
Oh my God, yeah, I did not know that.
Todd and I probably remember the 50 cent a mile years, but prices are going up. And this gives us a direct deduction from gross revenue generated per mile driven. If a delivery driver earns $1.50 gross revenue per mile driven, half of that gross revenue goes to car operating costs. Vehicle cost takes our $15 to $25 an hour and makes it $7.50 to $12.50 an hour. Now we've dropped below Washington minimum wage.
Severely below, actually, yeah.
And that's only operating costs. But wait, there's more. Estimates for typical finance and insurance costs will take another 50% of our remaining gross income. That leaves us with $3.25 to $6.25 an hour before income tax. So, if someone looks at that with clear eyes and says, okay, I get that I'm getting $3.25 to $6.25 an hour net before income tax. All my costs are estimated, probably not horribly wrong, a great business research outcome, medical research not so much, but this is only money, right? So if you're telling yourself it gets me out of the house and meeting new people, and maybe I can get a better job with networking, then maybe, from a very particular point of view, that's an informed choice. At least you know what you're getting into. $25 an hour? Merton says maybe a fourth of that. So I thought, could there be another way? In a previous show, we learned that some delivery drivers have gone rogue and set up their own independent delivery service, freeing themselves of delivery drudgery courtesy of those platforms. They used what they call hyper-local services, e-bikes, and available software to make it happen. So I thought, well, AI, help me build a hyper-local single-operator delivery system designed for Port Angeles. I opened up my browser tab to a Port Angeles Google map in terrain view so it could see the hills. And I said, give me an ideal service area and tell me about tech options for my service. So big prompt, but big project. Well, AI created a model that outperformed gig platform economics by leveraging a tiny service area, low operating costs, direct customer relationships, and good old local loyalty. AI identified a very interesting micro market from Valley Creek to Lincoln Street between Railroad and 4th.
So that's a pretty small geographical area.
It is, but it's loaded with residences, restaurants, business offices.
It's got the right targets in it.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's also kind of flat. So if you want a pedal bike, you can probably handle it that way. If you've got an e-bike, you'll have an easy time of it. AI found 2 available delivery platform apps, one called OnRow and the other called ShipDay. These platforms specifically support independent delivery services. Each provide customer ordering apps, real-time delivery tracking, auto notifications, zone-based service limits, and proof of delivery.
So everything in the fancy DoorDash app, right?
Without the 30% skim.
Yeah.
And then using data found online, AI identified 3 delivery windows for maximum revenue. And AI actually looked at Yelp to see when different restaurants were busy, and also those little charts you see on Google search when it says, this business is busy this time and that time. So AI said, why don't you work a lunch window from 1 to 2, deliver groceries from 2 to 4, and do a dinner window from 4 to 6. So pretty reasonable working time. The estimated gross earnings were $20 to $40 an hour, because you're not paying all those costs. Now, you will be paying a fee for the software, but it's a monthly flat fee. It's not a percentage of your sales. And, of course, you get to keep all your tips, and you don't have to argue with different vendors about how things are done.
Yeah, right, yeah, okay.
And, AI even drafted 2 one-page flyers for me to hand out to restaurants, stores, and customers. I gave Todd a copy to take a look at.
This is really pretty cool. So you could take this into said restaurant and say,
That's right.
I can offer this as here, this is what's in it for you.
That's right. And, the number one thing that's in it for them is they have to pay a fee, too. These delivery services will charge a percentage up to 20% to the restaurant for the privilege
of using
getting
DoorDash.
orders.
Yeah, right.
And that's the other nice thing about this system is it takes the delivery person completely out of the order cycle. I call up said restaurant or the grocery store, I place my orders, I pay for it, and then delivery person just goes to pick it up.
So the restaurant side, and we'll use restaurants.
Yeah.
They're going to play, just like you, a monthly fee.
Well,
a flat amount.
The restaurants don't need to pay me anything because my customers pay me for delivery.
Okay, so they don't even have to pay anything in it. So it's not a both-in thing at all. I misunderstood that. Okay, that's even better.
Yeah, well, that's a fair point. I guess you could work out something like that, but really, you're going to do fine.
Yeah,
just on your delivery fees, and you're going to be getting a lot of restaurant business because you're not dipping into their income.
Now, I got to ask you, in this thing,
Yes.
we'll use the restaurant. Are you going to then set up a menu? I mean, how do you get that menu in front of people that are going to make a mobile order?
Most restaurants already have that.
Okay.
It's on their own website, or there's a PDF on their Facebook page. So, again, the idea of placing that order is something that already goes on.
So they could do it as simply as having a little link there that says, if you want this as a delivery, this is it. And you may be hooked up with Todd Ortloff's delivery
That's
service.
right. Well, it's even easier than that because you get a customer app with your software application. And so you have your customers download the app and say, click, hey, Kevin, I've got an order over at Cocopelli's.
Got it. Okay.
So come on over and get that order and bring it to me for lunch. And it will immediately then log the order has been requested, and the time starts ticking to tell the customer where I am and when I'm bringing it.
In this model, does that delivery fee get then built into what they've paid at the restaurant, or how does that work?
No, they pay you.
So you show up with the thing,
right.
and you get a payment
You
from
can
them.
take payments on the software, or they can pay you at the door.
I got it. All right. But, but Kevin, it's like I have to do the work, though.
You do. You absolutely do.
That's the only thing that the DoorDash thing kind of lets you go. It's like, hey, you just sign up and off we go.
Well, they darn well better because they're only paying you $6.25 an hour. At the end of the day, they push all of this stuff on you. This is set up to enrich the delivery person, not the shareholders of the company.
Sure. Right.
And so they move through this process and they scrape money off at every turn. Now, Port Angeles alone could support several of these microsites and squim a couple more. So you do have to do the legwork, but you can do it all yourself.
Right. And the sooner you get in it, you become the first in.
That's right.
You get the ownership, so to speak, of it, right?
And maybe you want to hire some people and spread it out.
Yeah, you can even make those numbers go up.
Just push those guys right out of town and do it our way.
That's really so. The name, let's see, Onro, O-N-R-O, and Ship Day.
Or Ship Day.
So people, if they want to go online, they could probably research it a little bit. If
they'll
they just
pop right up. Yep.
Okay.
They're having a lot of fun with this. The cougar that we read about in Seattle that did this used Ship Day.
Okay.
And he took a tiny part of downtown Seattle where there were lots of offices and lots of restaurants, and that was his deal. And he started with just a flat $5 delivery fee.
Oh, really? So it didn't. Yeah, it was like it's going to be $5. Here's your lunch.
I mean, because look at the density. So next time we'll chat about some spring side hustle opportunities that might be a good fit for you or someone you know, and we'll look at an AI-generated side hustle development engine.
I love it. All right, Kevin, always great to talk to you. Great
Thank you.
ideas today. And you can get more info from Kevin at kevinyourbusinesscoach.com. You can also drop him a line there if you have a question.
Looking forward to it.
And he also posts up all of his show notes there as well. We're going to take a break and check in with the news. Coming up next.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP.
Your community-minded friends at First Fed bring you the Community Corner, highlighting good things happening right here in our area.
Like many communities, we have a real need to address the challenge of the unsheltered and public spaces that need to be cleaned up. 4PA is the local nonprofit powered by a dedicated group of volunteers focused on the cleanup of Port Angeles. Their new facility, called the Touchstone Campus, is an all-in-one operations center, a 1/2-acre green space for temporary housing shelters, 24-hour access to bathroom, shower, laundry, and kitchen. Also planned, retail and manufacturing businesses to provide training and work. The goal is to learn life skills to help individuals to transition into self-sustainability. If you'd like to learn more, volunteer, or support 4PA efforts, go to 4pa.org.
Community Corner, presented by First Fed.
We've got a surefire way for you to feel lucky this St. Patty's Day. Get a saltwater hot spring spa from Olympic Hot Tub. Take advantage of big savings and get 5 years to pay for it, interest-free. But hurry, this deal ends St. Patrick's Day. OlympicHotTub.com.
During the Swain's Lawn and Garden Sale, you'll be ready for everything outdoors with savings on men's, women's, and kids' outerwear and shoes. Georgia Boot waterproof hiking boots are only $114.87. That's a $50 savings. Men's lightweight mesh line windbreakers are $19.87. That's a $10 savings. North River Outfitter women's apparel is 20% off, and women's and kids' Sock It To Me socks are 20% off too. All at Swain's during the Lawn and Garden Sale.
The cabinetry in your home should keep you organized while fitting your space, your style, and your budget. At Hartnagel Building Supply, we make sure it does that and more. We're the only local company that sells and installs cabinetry, so you're supported from start to finish and beyond. Our installer isn't some outside contractor. He's an actual employee owner with over 30 years of experience who works with our designer to ensure a perfect installation. And it all starts with a free design consultation, an in-home measure, and digital 3D renderings, so you know exactly what you're getting before you order. With multiple options of cabinetry brands, countertops, and organizing solutions, we match you with the best fit. And it's not just kitchens and baths. Think mudrooms, garages, laundry rooms,